Hello and welcome to another episode of Bodied, a Cloud9 fancast. I'm your host Havokpus, and I'm joined by my co-host Frozencreek. How's it going?
Hello. I'm good. It's now the time of year that everyone expected. How are you feeling about your boys, the Crimson Tide basketball team?
I'm pretty hyped up. I had honestly no idea that the the Alabama basketball team was even like, that good this year. And then all
they
of a sudden
are
it's like, oh hey, by the way, they're competing in the SEC championship this weekend. I was like, what? No, that's not the same Alabama. And then they won, and now I'm pretty jazzed to see how far they go in the actual big boy tournament that everyone really cares about.
Yeah, they got a decent draw. They also have the sixth best odds to win the championship this year, which is not something that
That's not bad.
all expected coming into March. But they are actually in Michigan State's bracket too. So I want Bama because that means that we are doing extremely well.
Podcast Civil War.
Yeah, last time we got that, it didn't go so hot, but that was before the podcast, I think. by like a few months, I think, because I think we started in 2015 or 2016.
I can't remember actually.
I think it was 2016. So a year after the fact. But last time it did not go all that well in football. But I would take a rematch this year, but we have to get through a few other good teams first. So I'm actually kind of tempted to put Bama in my Final Four because I think they might have gotten the best 1 seed right now because I think Michigan is not as strong as they were 2 weeks ago, and they lost to Michigan State, which is kind of wild. But my boys are good. I'm gonna put some money on Alabama making it far. So
yeah, put some money on them. Do it.
But nothing will be as exciting as the one Alabama team that was playing 3v5 in a
Oh yeah, that
basketball
was a few years ago with Colin Sexton.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that game, but I heard about it, and the funniest thing about that was that they almost won that game without playing with 3 people.
Yeah, it was absolutely wild. I wasn't watching it live. I ended up watching the highlights and stuff, but that was a really fun game, and I think that turned me on a little bit to Alabama basketball, though I can't have them winning everything this year. So
no, you can't.
But there are, I guess, other things going on this weekend and in the midst of all of the basketball chaos.
Yeah, there's actually some Cloud9 things that are happening. I want to talk a little bit about Rainbow Six. I didn't really get the chance to watch the games because I was working over the weekend. But so far we are 3-0 in the Korean Spring Open, which is really, really good. Probably to be expected, actually, considering I would say, at least in terms of the Korean region, we are like the best Rainbow Six team. So really good to see that they're back at it, playing again, and still crushing it. So super happy about that.
Yeah, and I hope that this year we can get some kind of international stuff going on because they've kind of been a big fish in a small pond for a bit.
Yeah, I'd really like to see how they measure up with like European teams and some NA teams. Also, just because you don't really get to see that a lot, I think. But before we get on to League, we do have some Valorant news, which is it's somewhat interesting. So C9 White has signed Katie, who I believe she was subbing in for one of our players since she had to focus on school. We have dedicated to signing her. She's now a permanent member of the team. really exciting stuff. She was really good in the games that I watched that C9 White play. So I'm hoping that this can kind of boost their power level and they can maybe get a few more wins in those, open qualifiers that they've been playing. Maybe even qualify to a main event, or at least if there's going to be like an all women's tournament, hopefully that'll just increase our power level even more, and we end up just continuing to, crush people.
Yeah, she was arguably one of our best players during that streak of taking down a few tier 1 teams, including Renegades, I think it was. So
I believe so.
So it is a good signing. I feel bad for its Jazzykins, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I feel bad for her, but realistically, school is probably the right option at this point.
Yeah, school definitely comes first. So it's nice to see that we kind of created sort of like an amicable kind of solution to everything, and we at least have a player that can, help us out as well as have Jazzykins stay in school. On the flip side, C9 Blue has actually lost a player. Vice has stepped down. We were having a 6-man roster for a little while, and I was actually going to say on the show how we needed to, we needed some changes, because I don't know if you're in the news, aware, Frozen, but some pretty crazy stuff happened with Sinatra, and they, at least for the tournament that they're playing in the Valorant Masters series, they basically had to sign TenZ, but it seems like a temporary thing. But it seems like if TenZ really, really, really likes playing with Sentinels, he's going to basically just stay on, and they'll just buy his contract out. And I was gonna say, like, yeah, what we should probably do is take the huge buyout money that they'll probably give us, get rid of, you probably don't have to get rid of Vice, Mitch, and Relics, but I would say, like, at least get rid of 2 of them. Get an actual IGL and then rebuild from there. I'm not sure what we're gonna do, if we're gonna get like a 6 player again, or if it's just gonna be the 5 people. Poise is going to be the one who's going to be slotting in for Vice. I have no idea who is going to be the IGL now. I have no idea how this team is going to perform. It's really weird that we're kind of, we're doing the same thing that we were in CSGO, where we're basically just hanging on to whatever players we have until they're just underperforming to such a level that it's like you have to go, instead of just making bigger roster changes that may improve our performance like more quickly. So it's really weird. I'm not really sure what to really think about it or anything, but
yeah,
that's kind of the situation right now.
Yeah, I think from going to where we were as like arguably the top Valorant team with TenZ at the beginning, we have fallen quite a bit from that time. I'm not quite sure why TenZ would want out to go play somewhere else. It seems kind of weird to me, since he stepped down from our competitive team. But yeah, Sinatra, not a good guy.
No, he is a garbage person.
At
But
best.
at the very least, a garbage person. I could say a lot more mean things, but I'm not going to.
Yeah.
So the thing with TenZ is actually really interesting. So from the beginning, essentially, we had TenZ kind of on retainer. He was going to switch to Valorant. We basically let him build our roster. So it was kind of like, okay, he's going to get a bunch of his friends, and they're going to make a team together. Like our initial like prototype roster was him, Leaf, Relics, Infinite, and Shinobi. And that looked like a really good roster, and we performed really well the couple events that we played them with. But then Infinite Leaf decided that they were going to stay in CSGO, which was probably a mistake, since Leaf ended up switching over back to our team anyway. And then eventually the magic kind of wore off, and I'm not sure if there were things behind the scenes. I'm not sure what the deal was, but Shinobi was performing really badly. We were like, look, we have to get rid of Shinobi. He's just not pulling his own weight, which everyone pretty much agrees with. And then Tens is like, I'm not playing anymore. And that was the day before a tournament that we were going to play. And so it kind of seems like a thing of a repeat of his behavior, kind of when we were in CSGO, where there were probably some team issues. He was complaining a lot about ping, but I'm not sure how much exactly that's really affects him. And I think that seems to be just a cop-out excuse. But it seems like we had to make a call and say, look, we have to get rid of Shinobi. We have to get stronger players in. He was upset. He decides, I'm just going to leave the team out to dry. I'm not going to play in this tournament. You guys can do whatever. I'm just going to focus on streaming. And the first chance he gets, he leaves to play on Sentinels. So I don't really like that. I think that if that seems to be the case, I think it really just says something about his character. If you're not dedicated, like after your org basically gave you the rights to build a team, they gave you carte blanche to sign and like build a team, get whoever you want, and then instead of like compromising, especially when the team isn't working out, you just go, oh well, I'm not going to play, and then wait to get out of your contract. I think that that kind of says something about sort of the immaturity that he has, because he's really young, but that's still, I don't think that's okay to just kind of completely just stiff your team solely because you're not succeeding as well as you were or anything.
Yeah, I agree. It is extremely bizarre that he jumped on that first chance, and maybe he did get some good paycheck for it, but I don't know. I guess I don't want to judge him too much until he like actually leaves, because it was extremely bizarre that he stepped down and now he's like, oh yeah, I'll play pro again.
No, yeah, he decided that he was going to go back to pro like immediately when he had an opportunity to. And I think that in stepping down right before an event was going on, with it seemed like almost no heads up notice, I think definitely was just, that's, I mean, to me, that's not cool. I mean, you don't just do that. I think you can't just, from, not only, from just I guess a team perspective, but just from like a public perception kind of thing. It's like, are you really going to do that to your team? Are you really just going to say peace when, you really should probably at least play a little bit? And it's just silly. So we'll have to see. I'm really hoping that we do more changes. I think that I'd really kind of want to see someone else other than Relics play, and not to, or Mitch, not to say that they're bad players, but I think that when watching the games, it just seems like they're making mistakes that a team that is or was Cloud9's caliber shouldn't be making. We shouldn't be missing these like really simple aim duels. We really shouldn't be like making these like silly mistakes where we're we're just poorly rotating, and we're just not keeping our eyes on the objective and everything like that. So I think that it seems so silly. Like, why are we playing like this? We're smarter than this. We're better than this. We shouldn't be acting so stupid. But then we make stupid mistakes constantly. And I think we just need, we kind of need maybe a better IGL. Maybe we need just stronger aimers, that kind of thing. So I kind of want to see more changes, but we'll have to see.
Yeah. But where have I heard these issues before?
Oh, in CSGO.
Yes, but luckily we did not have any news for that this week, because there
No,
are
we didn't.
tournaments going on that we are not a part of.
Yeah. It's really interesting how we seem to like kind of mishandle the same kind of you know, we have like two games that are really similar, and we're equally just mishandling them. You know, you'd think that we would like be able to, I don't know, you know, just not do that. You think we would have learned from this mix of like, okay, you know, our CS:GO team for the past like 2 years has just been bad because we can't either A, build a roster and scout talent, or B, build, you know, bring in an already formed roster and then try to level up their play to something that's even better. You know, it just seems so ridiculous.
Yeah, agreed. But should we move on to league?
Yeah, we can. So
Okay. Oh, hold on. Before we hop into LCS, so last week we spent a decent amount of time talking about the amateur team who were playing against the Golden Guardians Academy in the Giant Slayer Gauntlet that day that we recorded
yeah,
that. They didn't play. They apparently there was a huge storm over LA that caused internet outages, and they could not get their internet up, and we had to forfeit.
yeah, I remember seeing that, and that's really unfortunate, especially since you know, this team is working really hard to try to like compete and try to get into this scouting grounds tournament, or the proving grounds tournament, and to have them have to forfeit because they had like this big internet outage and they couldn't get up is just, it's so like it's not even a thing that you can blame the team. You can't blame anyone on. It's just things out of your control force you to forfeit, and you're not able to go and really prove yourself. It's just really, it just really sucks, and I feel really bad for the team.
Yeah, and I think it kind of worked out in a way, or it didn't work out in a way, but Golden Guardians Academy is playing in the grand final, so something tells me that we probably weren't gonna make a run that far.
Do we have like one last shot to try to make it, or is that
Yes, there's one more tournament left
okay?
to get into LCS proving grounds, but as opposed to top 4, we have to get top 2.
Okay, that's gonna be really hard.
Yes, it's not an ideal situation, but I guess it is what it is. I guess what's kind of cool so far is that Eva Geniuses will have 2 teams in proving grounds, so that's kind of neat.
I guess that is kind of neat.
Yeah, the Prodigy's team lost to the Academy team in the semifinals of the Giant Slayer tournament.
I feel like that shouldn't have happened. I feel like they should have had some rule, you know, just say like, okay, guys, you can't do this. This is this is maybe not competitive.
Yeah, they 2-0'd them, but both made it. So the grand final is happening tonight at some point. So watch that. Cheer on contracts, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully at least Contracts wins as a former Cloud9 boy. I liked Contracts when he was on our team. So hopefully he can at least do well and show that he's maybe still able to get back to form and can, you know, still play with the big dogs.
Yeah, but let's go back on to LCS.
Right.
I just
Speaking
wanted
of
to throw
speaking of big dogs,
in.
we had a really weird weekend.
Yeah, we did.
We went 2-1, and surprisingly, and I think I even mentioned this last episode, where at least one of the games that we were playing was going to be a trap game. And it turns out it was the CLG match, because we lost the CLG, and in a pretty, it's kind of in a pretty bad fashion too.
Yeah, it was not our best game, and it really just kind of went to show that, like, oh, it might be happening again.
It really was, and I think what really pissed me off about the game, it's like, it's CLG. Like, this is a team that for several years now has just not been able to field any kind of competitive roster. It seems like they, you know, they just weren't able to really scout talent or do anything competitive, and you just you fucking lose to them. I think that's I think it's just ridiculous that, like, it's like your last week, and you go and lose to CLG of all teams, and how they did it was just kind of stupid. I think also in an interview, and this is a bit trailing off, but after I think the Dig game, or maybe it's the Immortals game, I can't remember. Perks gave an interview, and I think he said he said at one point basically like, "Oh yeah, I just haven't been playing champions that I've practiced in scrims," and it's like, why the fuck would you say that? Like it doesn't instill any confidence, at least within me, that like you're taking anything seriously. If you're just, oh no, yeah, I'm just not playing anything that we practiced. I'm just doing whatever. Like, do you not see how that could maybe hurt the team and the team's performance? Especially coming from someone who's like, he's such a well touted like individual. He's like, oh, I just didn't pick things that we actually practiced. It's just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Or to be fair, over the weekend, he played a Syndra game and two Oriana games, and I'm pretty sure he's probably put in a ton of time on both of those champions. But I do get your point, because like we went through a mini slump there, like losing to TSM, TL, and CLG, which
Yeah.
was truly counter logic. But it doesn't really, like everything Fudge and Sven are saying, like it doesn't really give me a ton of confidence that this team is like mentally prepared to play best of fives against Team Liquid or TSM. And
no, I
you're
think
going to
that,
have to at least play one of them, if not both.
yeah, I think that they still have a lot of work that they need to do, just because with how they're playing, it just seems like they're not, they're not doing it seems like they're trying to have a more like controlled, this more, like controlled, objective kind of focused style, maybe, or like a slower style of play, rather than what we're used to seeing, where Blabber is just trying to constantly fight in the early game, and he'll get a bunch of, him and the team will get a bunch of kills, and then we'll transition that over into, okay, yeah, we got, we can get Dragon, we can get Herald, and then we get a few towers, and then it kind of snowballs from there. We're trying to do this slower type of game, type of game, and we just seem really uncomfortable by it. It seems like Blabber doesn't really like playing a slower game. He doesn't like, I'm not sure if he's playing scared. I'm not sure if it's that he just, he's trying to be a bit more patient on his gameplay, so he doesn't have like a big throw or something. But it's just really odd.
He did play better on Sunday in that scaling comp, but yes, Friday against CLG, he kind of looked lost. Like he just didn't know what to do. Like diving in 1v3 for literally no reason. At mid turret, like, and dying for literally absolutely no reason. That was pretty bad. Fudge completely lost lane at level 1 against Finn, and it was just a complete shit show.
Yeah, and that's happened a couple
Overall.
of times. That's happened a few times this split, where Fudge just has like just the dumbest, like, he just has this really dumb, like really poor level 1, and then it's like, well, I guess his lane's just lost, and he's so far behind that it's essentially a 4v5 for the rest of the game, and we just can't compete anymore. And that's one of the things that I've really been worrying about Fudge, is that, is his play going to like improve enough to where he won't make those kinds of mistakes anymore, and he can at least help us be more competitive? Because this whole split, he's kind of been focusing on lane, and he's gotten better, but it's still kind of in this weird spot where he's just like, kind of struggling to really lane, and not win. It's usually he either he's on a pick that loses gracefully, like he was when he's playing Scion into Renekton, or he just goes even.
Against Dig, he actually did have a really good game. So laning has left a lot to be desired, but I think to the best, if not the best team fighting top laners, like his instinct and timing for engages has been incredible all split. So if he can like get his laning up to like a decent level, like I think that this team is going to like be extremely good. But I feel like the first 20 minutes, if he doesn't get ahead, then it's going to be a game that's in for the long
No,
haul.
yeah, I completely, I
We're
completely
in the
agree with you
one of
about
those.
the team fighting thing. I think that he is like how he synergizes with the team in terms of a fighting perspective is great. Like he does exactly what he needs to do with his engages. He knows when to zone off people. He knows when to like go in. He does all that really really well. I think that the laning thing definitely hurts him, and I'm hoping that he can like improve and get past that so he can get better because he has the potential. I think it's there. I think it's just that he needs to still put in a lot of work if he's going to be able to like go toe to toe with like Someday or Alfari or Huni and really make more of an impact.
Yeah, and during these playoffs, he's going to have to play someday this weekend. And if we lose, I think he'd probably face Evil Geniuses, so Impact. And then if we won, he'd have to go against either Fake God, Huni, or Alfari. And then Huni or Alfari, then Huni or Alfari again. So it's not a very kind
No,
yeah
no,
for
it
him.
sounds like he has like he's gonna have a rough time no matter who he plays.
Yeah, and he had an interview with Travis this week where he said he felt like his champion pool was better than most top laners, but I have a hard time feeling like that would be true against Someday, Impact, Alfari, and Huni, who have all been pros longer than he's been able to play the game as
Yeah,
at a professional level.
yeah,
So
I think that's understandable. I think a part of me kind of likes that Fudge is kind of trash talking just because it makes things more interesting. Like because if his trash talk pans out, and it's like, oh, okay, he clearly knew what he clearly knows what he's doing, right? He's a good player, but when it doesn't, it does make him kind of look foolish.
yeah, and I I I think in one of his Travison interviews, he talked about like how he does it to keep up his like internal pressure on himself to keep getting better. So like if he says he's top two, he has to go out
Right, he
and
has
play
to like
like
prove
it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I can
to
see that, and
himself.
that makes that makes sense for like a good way to do things.
Yeah,
At least from a trying to like an improvement standpoint.
yeah, and coming from Fudge, it feels different than coming from Perks or Sven, who have been on the talk circuits this week talking about Cloud9 too. So I'm a bit nervous about that, but I'm still not sure the 100 Thieves match is going to be a big enough of a hurdle to knock us down yet.
I think that the 100 Thieves match is definitely doable. Um, they're not looking nearly as like insane as they were when they started, and in like the lock-in tournament, they were looking just pretty unstoppable, I guess. But they've really slowed down, and they haven't been having like insane games as before. I think that it's really doable. I think it's just a matter of you know being able to pick good drafts and just actually play our mid game well. I think that right now our biggest issue is we get easily lost in kind of the mid game and trying to figure out what to do. That a lot of times we're doing nothing, and then it gives the other team a really easy chance to just get back and like, all right, we can just get towers here. They're not gonna. We can just get towers. They're not gonna try and rotate and stop us. We can get towers. We can get dragon. We'll do whatever. They're just gonna kind of on autopilot. Just go in and catch these waves and push them back out so it just remains even. And eventually it becomes just such an issue that we end up losing. So I think as long as we don't get kind of lost in the mid game and we're more decisive and we can figure out what to do, I think that we can definitely beat them.
Yeah, and that match is happening on Sunday at 4 p.m. So, right now the betting odds have us at a 72% favorite or 72% chance to win, and I feel like that would be correct. What I'm concerned about is that it seemed like Sven and Vulcan kind of had a brain dead week this week. Like, Sven got solo killed, or Sven and Vulcan both got solo or not solo killed, but
Yeah, I know what
killed
you're saying. I know what you mean.
by CLG, and then Sven died to dig out of when Vulcan roamed. I don't think anything crazy happened against Immortals, but FBI and Huhi are probably relatively equal to Sven and Vulcan, and I would expect them to be able to punish a lot better than a team like CLG or Dig could. So I'm a little bit worried about that because 100 Thieves win condition comes through bot lane, and how we play around that is going to be a big indicator to how the series is going to go.
Yeah, I think that we definitely need to sharpen up our bot lane play. They've made some really questionable choices for a little while now, and you kind of have to hope that they can shape up and perform well again, because they really need to, given who we're going to be having to play eventually.
Yeah, because it's not going to get any easier.
I think another thing that they're probably going to have to focus on is just to make sure that Fudge doesn't get too far behind, because if he does, it'll mean it'll just mean that it'll make the game like a lot harder, and that 100 Thieves is like prepping for that, and they're specifically probably going to be like, all right, just make sure just hit Fudge and make sure he can't do anything, and they'll basically be down a guy. So they have to have some sort of strategy coming into this to at least try and make it to where it's not that difficult.
Yeah, and I will say I feel like this 100 Thieves team is not the same 100 Thieves that we saw during lock-in. Demonte was playing like Twisted Fate and Galio and such super well at that time, and it seems like they've abandoned that to play Azir mid every game on a Ryoma. So I'm not sure if that intense focus is going to be there, but we can't just let a Ryoma get to 4 items in team fight for 5 games in a row. So
Yeah,
I do think that the mid gap is going to be massive, and I'm not sure that Perks is going to pull out LeBlanc or something, but I actually wouldn't be surprised to see a Talon this weekend.
yeah, I saw that he's been like grinding that like crazy in his solo queue games. So if we do get a Talon, would be like a really good like curveball to throw. I could see that. I could also see him just picking kind of the standard stuff that we've seen everyone kind of play and just build like a really good CS lead. But I think one thing that Perk should probably be careful of is just getting too overconfident, because he's going to be going up against Ryoma. I can guarantee you 100% he does not respect Ryoma, and he doesn't respect Amante. So
No.
I can almost guarantee that at some point he will make some cocky move, because he will think, I'm better than them. I can do stupid shit and get away with it because they're not going to punish me like Power of Evil would or anything. And then that's going to, come and maybe hurt us if his play doesn't go well. So I'm hoping that he at least has the foresight and the fortitude to not make a complete idiot of himself.
Yeah. And that his brain is turned it on. But
yeah,
I do think that no matter how we come into on these games, that we can play their style and our style better than them. So I don't think that 100 Thieves is going to be able to handle 5 games of Cloud9. So I think my prediction would probably be a 3-0.
I'd say probably a 3-1. I think that we're probably going to have at least a little bit of adjustment going into the game, especially if it's like the first game. Like, you don't know, you're not sure what they're actually going to do and how they're going to play. Like, you need to be at least a little ready. So they could do some curveball stuff that no one's expecting, and that can kind of that can just make things difficult. I'd say we can probably win 3-1. If we do stupid stuff, it may come down to a 3-2. But hopefully Perks' clutch factor that he's so touted for can kick in and help us win.
Yeah, agreed. But 100 Thieves, I don't know if they. Okay, so 100 Thieves against teams placed higher in the standings than them. It's 3 teams, so they're 1-5. They beat Team Liquid once, and every other wins against like FlyQuest or Dig, which is actually not that a bad, or it's not a bad win. They beat CLG twice, Immortals twice. They lost to Gold and Guardians. So I just don't actually think that they're a good team overall, and that's why I said 3-0.
No, yeah, I can't blame you, especially when you say stats like that, where they're 1-5 with teams that are above them in the standings. I think that definitely does make it, at least on paper, statistically, we should be able to win.
Yeah, and they beat Team Liquid before week 4, so Team Liquid was kind of floundering at that time too. So I just don't feel like that they're going to offer enough fight to beat us over 5 games.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But looking at the bracket, the first round is like the winners bracket. So Team Liquid, TSM are going to face off, and then the winner of our game faces the winner of that game.
Mm-hmm.
But the way it's set up is there's a losers bracket again. So if we win our first 2 series, then we automatically go to the grand final, where we face the winner of the losers bracket. So the loser of our game will go on and face Evil Geniuses or Dig. I'm not 100% sure who. Then the winner of those games will play the winner of the other one, and then the winner of that will play the loser of round 2 of the winners bracket. So we could hypothetically end up facing Team Liquid 1-2 times in the 3 best of 5s. So it's going to be tough, considering Team Liquid has had our number for years now.
Yeah, I'm really not looking forward to the Team Liquid match, just because it's they're going to make it so difficult, and it seems like we just can't shake getting beaten by them. or like playing against them and winning, we always seem to make a mistake of some kind at like the very last minute or the very last match, and it's just, well, that's kind of it. But hopefully,
Yeah.
like, I'm hoping at least this time around we've prepared enough and are ready enough to where we can actually do something and beat them, because I want us to go to MSI. I want to see how strong C9 would be like internationally. I think we could do well. I'm really upset that we didn't get to go to MSI last time, and we're kind of having to like try to do it all over again.
Yeah, and we have a good shot this year, so no reason that we can't do it. But if we do win, then we will have a week off before playing our round 2 match. So I guess that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, that should give us at least enough prep time to figure out like who we're playing next and what to really do about it.
Yeah, and Team Liquid is favorited against TSM, and I feel like over 5 games, Team Liquid should edge that, but I guess that's why they play the games.
Yeah.
So we'll be back next week to talk about that and our brackets.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to say, so
Yep, me neither.
we can just close it out. Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at C9 Bodied, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time, guys.